Good evening, ladies and welcome to a very special edition of the Wrestling Forum. This is a recap of WWE Payback down tonight from the Thunderdome, the Amway Arena in Orlando, Florida, exclusively on the WWE Network. We're gonna dive right in, guys. First fight of the night for the United States Championship. This is on Raw, as it was Bobby Lashley alongside the Hurt Business, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin going up against the reigning champion Apollo Crews. The winner of the bout via submission at 9 minutes and 30 seconds, and new United States heavyweight champion Bobby Lashley. Unfortunately, I will have to DQ myself for the entire night due to work commitments beyond my control. Anthony Florio, you lead off on this match.
All right. Thank you very much, MF. And I'm ready to take the lead for the three-man weave. So let's go. Beforehand, there was a kickoff show match. It was the Riot Squad defeating the Iconics, by the way. In case anybody cared, but I'm sure they don't. But anyways, I'm going to give this a solid 2.5 stars, maybe 2.5 to 3 stars here. The match was solidly paced, featured some great power work from both men, and was one of Crew's best performances to date. There will be plenty who argue Cruz should not have lost the title so quickly, just as management is building his star. But such an outcome puts him in position to chase the title and get more over with fans. The post-match attack was questionable because it made him look almost cowardly as he jumped the new champion, then fled when attacked by the heels. But that is a creative misstep that can easily be fixed. Hopefully, this is not the end of Cruz's push because he is a performer who is gaining more confidence with every passing week. Bobby Lashley, while impressive and a name in the industry, is on the back end of his career. He should be utilized to help put Cruz over. And if the closing moments of the segment are any indication, that appears to be the direction things are heading. But I'm not at all surprised with the outcome here. New United States Heavyweight Champion in Bobby Lashley. So really nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, come on in. And let's get your thoughts on this. First match of the night, and right out of the gate, we get a new champion. History made.
Yep, first match, we get a new champion right off the bat. I'll agree with the rating, 2.5 stars. I mean, yeah, you could argue that some people were probably not happy with the outcome. I mean, people thought maybe if you're going to really push Apollo Crews, maybe you should have kept the title on him, but this really wasn't that much of a surprise to me. So we'll wait and see what happens with Lashley as the new champion. What's next for Apollo Crews now that he's no longer the champion? But 2.5 stars, I agree. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
I can agree with the rating, 2.5 stars. I'm not going to add anything else, so it's yours, Fletch.
All right, next match of the night, it was Big E versus Sheamus. Big E wins the match in 12 minutes and 20 seconds. So, Mike Bullock, I give it to you, my friend.
All right. I thought this was a good match for what it was. I'll give it maybe 3.25 for the effort here. I mean, obviously they're continuing to push Big E here. We're expecting really big things from him. I mean, especially ever since Kofi went down. So this is a big win for him. Another big step in the right direction for Big E. Now the only thing is what's next for Big E. We're gonna have to wait and find out. So 3.25. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
I'll give it about 3.5. Very good match. Biggie looked good in it. Not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah. I'm going to give this about 3.25 to 3.5 stars. I mean, this was a solid match here. This was a great heavy hitting match. Big E and Sheamus beat the hell out of each other and delivered a physical contest that made the former's win even more impressive. Faced with the challenge of a former world champion, Big E overcame a leg injury to earn the hard-fought win and move on in his journey to the top. The fire that Big E showed after the match with Corey Graves is exactly what we need out of him, and the type of emotion that will eventually earn him that world or universal title run that he seeks. So well done indeed. So 3.25, 3.5 stars. One of the fights of the night, no question about that. So MF, let's move on.
All right, next up we had was Matt Riddle versus King Corbin. Matt Riddle wins the match in 10 minutes and 55 seconds. Didi, what's going to give it to you?
Yeah, this was for those of us who don't like Keegan Corbin. This was actually very enjoyable to see him actually lose to Matt Riddle. I'm going to give it about 3.5 stars. I thought this was a good match between the two of them. They did a good job, and you would have thought it could have gone either way, but in the end, Riddle pulled it off, and from what it looks like, it doesn't look like this feud is over with yet. So we'll have to see what comes up next since Corbin assaulted Riddle in the backstage area after the whole thing was over. So not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
Solid 3 to 3.25 stars. This was another good physical match that was just a step below its predecessor. Corbin either sold the life out of his ribs/liver area or was legitimately hurt near the end of the bout. He still performed up to the level of his competition, turning in one of his better performances of 2020. Riddle also did a fantastic job of selling. More importantly, the original Bro showcased the sort of emotion you must be able to portray if you hope to be a star of substance in WWE. He was intense, and it helped the overall story and quality of the match. The beatdown by Corbin that ensued as Riddle walked through the curtain backstage suggests the issues between the two are far from over. Whether this story has that kind of longevity remains to be seen. So that's really all there is to say on this. So 3 to 3.25 stars. That's the rating I'm going to give this. So MF, set up the next match, and I'll take it, and I'll lead the 3-person weave.
All right, very well. Next up,
Hey, what about me?
Oh, Michael
Oh, Florio, you've gone in up and done it now.
I'm excited. Come on, give me a break.
See, he did this to me on the pre-show.
No, that's okay for me.
Come on, I'm
That's okay,
excited, man. Give me a break.
Hey, no problem, man.
Go ahead, Bullock. It's all yours, bro.
All right, 3 to 3.25. I agree with it. I mean, yeah, I mean, a nice win for Matt Riddle, and obviously the war between these two is definitely far from over, especially after the ambush by Corbin backstage. So, yeah, there's nothing more to add. So now let's move on, Fletch.
All right, very well then. Well, I know why Florio is really excited that he wanted to jump in on this. So, with that said, it was for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, the champions, Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, winners of the bout, via submission at 10 minutes and 20 seconds, and new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions of the World, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax. They've done it for Monday Night Raw. The belts are back with Team Red, the most unlikeliest of tag team champions. But it was Shayna Baszler who was the MVP. She choked out both Sasha and Bayley for the submission victory. It wasn't that she choked out one of them, she choked both them out at the same time. Anthony Florio, go ahead, my friend. We have new tag team champions. History was made at the Thunderdome.
You damn right history was made in the Thunderdome. And yeah, we all saw this coming, no question about it. And that's why, and yes, MF, you are absolutely right. This is why I am very excited this evening. I still can't stand Nia Jax, but hey, whatever it takes to get the women's tag team titles back to Monday Night Raw and off of those loudmouths off those loudmouths' waist there. I mean, that's not a bad thing. That is a good thing. Believe that. So I'm going to give this a solid 3 stars for the effort. The match wasn't particularly good. It lacked structure, was disjointed more than once, and had little emotion because fans had no reason to cheer the challengers or want to see them succeed. Well, except for me, because I'm a Raw guy. With only a week to work with, their journey to the titles was essentially non-existent, so there was a total absence of anticipation for their win. Bayley tapping, thus costing Sasha her last title, is sure to spark the eventual breakup, and rightfully so. That story has been teased, delayed, and teased again so much that us fans deserve to see those two go head-to-head for SmackDown supremacy. And I believe that will happen next month at the Clash of the Champions on September 27th. Kudos to WWE Creative for booking Shayna Baszler as a dominant force in the finish. It comes a bit late, but she looked like the badass force of nature she should have been the entirety of her main roster run, which should have included a Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. But, that is what it is. But who cares? I mean, she's finally got her first main title, and it'll be very interesting to see how her and Jax coexist with the titles, but who cares? They're back on Monday Night Raw. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be any more delighted. So a solid 3 for the effort. So Michael Bullock, for the Golden Role Models, I mean, Sasha lost the Raw Women's title last week at SummerSlam to Asuka. They lose the Women's Tag Team titles tonight. In the immortal words of the late, great Freddie Mercury and Queen, and another one down, and another one down. Another one bites the dust. Yeah!
Couldn't have said it any better. And nobody deserves that more than the quote-unquote golden role models. And finally, to see their big mouths shut after all the talking, the trash talking, and all that nonsense from them. Yeah, so 3 stars is my rating. I mean, you knew that this was gonna happen. I mean, this was a good match, and the unlikeliest of teams in Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler becoming the champs, and it's gonna be interesting to see what happens now that they're the champs. So, and yeah, this is another step in the breakup of the Golden Role Models, and who knows? I mean, maybe the breakup could come eventually. Maybe as soon as Friday night on SmackDown, where obviously Bayley, I think, is going to do what she always does, run her big mouth, and once again is going to put her foot in her own mouth, and that's when Sasha's probably going to be like, you know what? I'm done with you. I can't stand your crap. And that's when she'll probably attack her, and that's when she'll lay down the challenge and challenge her for the SmackDown Women's title. And it's going to happen at the Clash of Champions, and I think there is when the historic run of Bayley's long reign as SmackDown Women's Champion is going to come to an end. So the pieces continue to fall in place for the breakup. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And I think it could happen Friday night. So 3 stars is my rating. Dee Woodson, it is yours.
Technically, I think we've already seen the breakup start tonight because Sasha has now lost both titles. Bayley still has one. And she looked like she was about to cry because she lost the titles. So, dear heart, there's no crying in wrestling. Sorry. I'll agree with the rating. And, Nia and Shayna look good trying to being a tag team together with the fact that neither one of them like each other. They did a great job. And yeah, we're going to see the downfall. Bayley's going to put her foot in her mouth and then try to kiss Sasha's butt just to kind of make up, which will not happen. It won't work in the end because we all know Sasha's going to go for that title and she's going to strip Bayley of it. So not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
All right, and we will indeed move right along. Next up, we had was the one-on-one match from Monday Night Raw, as it was Keith Lee versus Randy Orton, and Keith Lee wins the match in 6 minutes and 40 seconds. But the one thing that you had to talk about this one, this was an absolute one-sided match. Randy Orton literally got destroyed tonight from all indications from everybody on social media. Keith Lee buries Randy Orton here tonight. A lot of people are very happy that Keith Lee did it, but a few Orton fans, not me, because I haven't seen the match, but a lot of Orton fans are pissed off tonight because of that, because of how the Vipers has been portrayed leading into the match, and then later and literally gets destroyed by the Limitless one. So Michael Bullock, you lead off. Keith Lee wins the match in 640, and it wasn't even close from many of the experts. This was a burial tonight.
Yeah, and you could say by default, you could say without a doubt, this was the worst fight of the night. I mean, I was expecting much more than that, and yeah, I mean, it was almost a one-sided affair. So 1 star is the only thing I could give it. I mean, I could give it a no rating if I wanted to, but I'm just being very generous here. But yeah, I've heard the same thing too. I mean, a lot of people are not happy about it, especially all the Orton fans. Well, let's just say there's one thing that we've learned. I mean, we've learned so many times Randy Orton's been the one to he's been bullying people around, and I mean, like that one time in 2009 where he went to production and told WWE to not push Kofi Kingston, and look what happened there. So I guess the old saying, "What goes around comes around." Randy, you want to bury all these people who are up and coming. Well, you just got a taste of your own medicine, Mr. Orton. Thanks to the limitless one, Keith Lee. So yeah, reap what you sow, Randy. You want to bury people? You just got buried by some young and up and coming superstar in Keith Lee. Dee Woodson, like I said, what goes around comes around.
Definitely. Yeah, the match was a little lackluster. Yeah, Lee did dominate a little bit more than Orton. Um, I'm gonna give it probably 1.5 stars, just because Lee did pull it off in the end with this squeaky clean win, and this was the one that I went lone wolf on and said Orton, but I'm kind of glad that I was wrong on that one, because I'm glad to see Keith Lee, actually pull off a win in his first pay-per-view match. So yeah, not much more I'm going to add. Florio, what's yours?
Yeah. By default, this was the worst fight of the night. 1 to 1.5 stars. But that is how you create a new star. WWE Creative put Keith Lee over as strongly as it has anyone this year, following up on his extraordinary performance last November at Survivor Series with a clean and undisputed victory over Randy Orton, the same Randy Orton who is potentially gearing up for a WWE Championship run. And he did it in convincing fashion. It wasn't a fluke. He beat Orton as definitively and decisively as possible, announcing to the world that he is the next big thing in WWE. For a company that routinely manages to botch the introduction of a new face, what a relief it was to see it get this one right. Big things are popping for Keith Lee, who has instantly become a major player on Monday Night Raw. And I, for one, couldn't be any more delighted. I mean, now I know why Bullock was so had so much high praise for this young man when he was on NXT, and I'm sure Bullock is it's got to be having that proud papa moment for him because, because this was one of his major mainstays and at one time the heart and soul of NXT. And if it wasn't for the year Drew McIntyre was having, you could easily make an argument for Keith Lee for Superstar of the Year in 2020. I mean, he's right there. But the only reason why I have to slightly give the nod to Drew McIntyre is because of what Drew McIntyre has done. Well, they both have done great things this year, but Drew McIntyre, he won the Royal Rumble match. He beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the WWE Championships, held it since, and has had an enjoyable run and a great run. And Keith Lee is right there with him. I mean, winning the North American title in January, beating Roderick Strong on that NXT taping. And then last month, the Great American Bash, ending the historic run of Adam Cole as NXT champion when he unified that with the North American title as part of that Great American Bash. And now, already, I mean, he has a humongous win under his belt just a week into his main roster run in WWE on Monday Night Raw. So bigger and better things are coming for this young man, I'm telling you. I think within the next year or two, there is no doubt in my mind that Keith Lee will be a future WWE champion. There is no question about that in my mind. So, and if that's the case, give him a longer than 45-day run with it. That would be great. So that's all I can say on this. By default, the worst fight of the night, 1 to 1.5 stars. And all I can say, MF, is may God have mercy on your soul when you watch this match, because I mean, like that character that we used to reference on the Doug Funny show, Percy Femur. It was a massacre.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Enough said. So let's move right along. Co-fight of the night on the Monday Night Raw side, and actually the last match of the night for Monday Night Raw, as it was the Mysterios, Dominic and Ray, going up against Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins. And the Mysterios wins the match in 16 minutes. I believe it goes to Dee Dee Woodson. So, Dee Dee, it is all yours, my dear.
Yeah, this was a great match. I thought they did a great job. Dominic definitely showed a lot of progress from, the way he was in the last match. He did a lot more this time around to prove that, he was really trying to stand up for his family. It was also good to actually see him get the pin instead of his dad. But yeah, I mean, they did a great job. A lot of back and forth. Yeah, there was a few times when Rollins and Murphy looked like they were going to pull it off, but in the end, Murphy trying to do what Rollins said by kicking Ray, and then Ray moving out of the way just in time for him to kick Rollins and then get pinned by Dominic. I mean, yeah, it looks like that little disciple is not a disciple anymore. It looks like he's been kicked to the curb. So not much more I'm going to add. I'm going to give it about 4 stars. I thought it was a very well done main event for Raw. So, Florio, it's yours.
You can make an argument for fight of the night here. I mean, that's how great this match was. I 100% agree with Dee Dee's rating. This was a solid 4 stars, teetering on 4.25. This was a super fun tag team match and a very good one to boot. Seth Rollins' desire to punish Rey Mysterio led to the miscommunication and allowed father and son Mysterio to pick up the elusive win over the Monday Night Messiah. Rollins appeared extremely disappointed, dismissive even, of Murphy in the wake of the defeat. Might his actions come back to bite him tomorrow night on Raw, given the fact that he has to face Rey Mysterio one more time? In only his second match, Dominic displayed the sort of confidence you expect from a much more seasoned performer. He is going to be a huge star one day, and one can only imagine how emotional it was to share this moment with his dad. I mean, like that feel-good moment that we saw 15 years ago at SummerSlam 2005. We know that story. So that came full circle 15 years later. So would have been nice if we could have had that a week ago, but it is what it is. But anyways, 4 to 4.25 stars. And Michael Bullock, you can easily make an argument for this to be the fight of the night, if not the fight of the night.
Yeah, I agree. I think you can make an argument that this was the fight of the night. What a match this was. 4 stars. I mean, this is a really enjoyable match. I mean, the Mysterios looked really good. I mean, Dominic continues to amaze me in the ring. I mean, yeah, that little miscommunication at the end with Rollins and Murphy, I mean, ultimately led to the downfall of Rollins and Murphy. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow night, especially since Seth Rollins has got to go one-on-one with Rey Mysterio one more time. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So, Fletch, I think it's time to move on to the main event.
The main event of the evening for Payback for the Universal title. The champion, the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, puts the title on the line against Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns. This was absolute chaos. All right, started off with the Fiend and Strowman. They were going at it. They were tearing the house down. And then a major bomb came out as Alexa Bliss has aligned with the Fiend. She's the Joker. She's not Sister Abigail. She's the Joker card that Bray was alluding to on Firefly Funhouse on Friday night. She's the Joker of the group. But then there was a moment. The ring implodes. It was the infamous suplex of the big men. The ring implodes. Roman Reigns comes out, signs the contract that makes the match official. Roman pins Strowman. Roman Reigns is Universal Champion. 12 minutes, 50 seconds. The winner of the bout and new Universal Champion, the big dog, Roman Reigns, the Paul Heyman guy. Anthony Florio, you lead off.
Second best fight of the night. I'm going to give this about 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. Ignoring the fact that signing a contract midway through a match is probably illegal, this was a perfect way to put over the heel persona of Roman Reigns. With Paul Heyman's guidance, he took the most underhanded approach by waiting until he saw an opening created by his brawling opponents and sneakily absconded with the title. In the immortal words of my man Jesse the Body Ventura, and I would have said the exact same thing on this show, brilliant. That's what I would have said as the heel commentator here. It was a great bit of booking, though Roman Reigns' Titantron visual and music need an upgrade if we are going to go full steam ahead with this heel turn. The other development of note was Alexa Bliss watching intently as the Fiend controlled the match early. She is clearly going the way of Harley Quinn, and we should all be here for that. I know I will be. There are, after all, far worse storylines for WWE to rip off than that modern-day classic. But nonetheless, chaos indeed. Just in case you fans were wondering, how many times did Girl MF scream, "Oh my God," during this match? I believe I counted 3. So I counted 3 and prayed, by the way. So, yeah, there was the announcer table spot. There was that stage spot. And then, of course, the biggest "oh my God" of all was when the ring imploded. And yes, MF, I heard you snickering when those Thunderdome, even the Thunderdome fans were going crazy, just like they did in that SmackDown in 2003 when Brock Lesnar and the Big Show were the first to do it. They were the OGs when it came to that spot. And I remember those fans going nuts, and MF just lost it in laughter, and I'll never forget it. And yeah, MF, I know you did the same thing. I know you did. But man, I'll tell you, I mean, it wasn't quite the show stealer I thought it was going to be. That honor went to the Mysterios and Rollins and Murphy, but they came very close. That's all I can say on that. Big Dog, the champ. No surprise with this. I've heard through some sources that expect Roman to hold this title for the long haul. I heard Roman's going to hold this thing for a long haul, possibly until maybe WrestleMania.
I heard he's supposed to hold it all the way up to WrestleMania.
Yes.
So because the rumor I'm hearing, it's possibly Rock versus Roman for WrestleMania.
That would be something, but the question is, does it really need the Universal Championship?
True. Very true. Does it? Yeah, that's definitely a very compelling argument to say.
Me personally, those two could sell alone based on their name value. They don't need the Universal Championship. That's just my opinion. But then again, look what they did a number of years ago with Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. That we know that damn sure didn't need the Universal Championship. But guess what? They did it anyway. So if they did it for them, sure as hell they'll do it for them. So and who knows? Maybe they give Rock one last hurrah. So maybe maybe give him one more title run, one more accolade. Then he could really call it a career. And then maybe they could have like a big tournament or something to crown a new champion or whatever. And then oh gosh, trade of thought. But I'll get it back at some point. But for right now, MF, things have just gotten very interesting over on your show, Friday Night SmackDown, and I am hopeful that this Friday night we'll finally get that first heel promo from Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. I mean, that's what I want to see, and I guarantee you, if we get it, he's gonna knock that sucker out of the park. I believe it. So that's oh yeah, and then The Rock can then finally take his rightful place, as I think he should have all along, in the WWE Hall of Fame. But that's neither here or there. So that's all there is to say here. 3.5, 3 3/4, second best fight of the night, no question about it. So Michael Bullock, Fiend is a transitional champion, and now we start the era of the Big Dog, and I'm hopeful that on Friday night we'll get that first heel promo, and I guarantee you he's going to kill that thing.
Oh, I believe he'll definitely kill it for Friday night. That with that first heel promo. Yeah, 3.5, 3 3/4. I mean, this was definitely a good match. I know some people are probably saying it's illegal for somebody to sign a contract when the match is already taken place, but this is the way you want to sell Roman as a heel. You had to have him do something like that. So I think it was done perfectly, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I certainly cannot wait for that first heel promo, and it's definitely going to be something worth watching. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, let's get to the final thoughts. Oh, Dee Woodson, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I'm forgettable, I guess. Although Flora did forget you earlier in the night too. So, all right. I'm going to agree with the rating. This was a very chaotic match, but at the same time, really good. So, Roman picking up the win with a spear to Braun Strowman after several attempts, and everybody kicking out. He even got a little bit of the mandible claw from the Fiend. So yeah, this was very very well done for Roman as a heel. So not much more I have to say. So it's yours, Fletch.
All right, guys, and that will Actually, let's do a quick overall review. So, Michael Bullock, I'll lead it off with you, my friend. What did you think of Payback tonight?
I thought it was it was a good addition of Payback. I mean, yeah, I mean, you only had a short amount of time to get everything set, but in the amount of time it did, in the time they did to get ready for it, I thought they did really well. I mean, the only disappointment was the Keith Lee Randy Orton match. So overall, I thought it was a good pay per view. So, D.D. Woodson, final thought from you.
Yeah, it was a good pay per view. They, I wish they would have given us more time to have the storylines built up a little bit more than what they did. Um, but it is what it is. It still came out to be pretty good all the way around. So yeah, I'm not going to add too much more. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah. Not the best show, but not the worst either. I will say that. Um, I will, if I were to put a rating on this, I would give this a solid 7 out of 10 for the effort. Overall, the main event was an explosive finish to a pay-per-view event that pleasantly surprised. There were no skippable matches. Everyone seemed to be working hard, and the result was a 2.5 hour good time. I mean, the show was over just after 9:30. I mean, it felt, like an old school 3 hour pay-per-view. I mean, that's what it had the feel of, and there is no question about it. And it was an overall solid show filled with good matches and no duds really. The tag team match with the Mysterios versus Rollins and Murphy, that was the clear fight of the night. Keith Lee, Randy Orton, they weren't given enough time to really develop their bout, but the fact that Keith Lee defeated Orton so quickly and decisively is what really mattered. And having Roman wait until the final moments of the Universal Championship match to make his appearance might have hurt the overall quality of the match, but it absolutely achieved the dual goals of putting the belt back on Roman and further developing his heel turn. With Matt Riddle and Big E also picking up wins, this was clearly a night all about building toward the future. And if they keep doing this, in the immortal words of one of the great one-hit wonders of our time, Timbuk 3, their future's so bright we all have to wear shades, and I got mine ready to go. So I'm hopeful. I mean, there was one other time, years ago where we thought we were heading toward a youth movement, but that never really escalated. But I'm hoping that after what we saw tonight, I'm praying that this will be the start of a much needed youth movement in WWE. And if that's the case, then we got a bright future ahead of us, and it'll be so bright we'll all have to wear shades. So that's all there is to say on this. So solid 7 out of 10, no question about it. And we'll see what happens. And thankfully, now we can go back to having a normal build for our pay-per-view. We got a month now to get ready for the Clash of Champions, which will be on September 27th, 4 weeks from tonight. So we'll have to, and that's the one night a year where all the gold is on the line. And I mean all the gold. All the gold from Monday Night Raw, all the gold from Friday Night SmackDown. And it's going to be a fun show, I hope. So that's all there is to say. So nothing more. MF, let's put a bow on this night and let's set the table for our upcoming content for this week.
All right, so tomorrow night is Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio, and we also will have we're gonna have the Bruins beat. We don't know when though. It might be after we finish with at least all the Raw stuff and Anthony finishes with his stuff. We might do it after. I don't know how it's going to play out. We don't know how it's going to look as of yet. But there will be a Bruins beat on Monday. Then Wednesday, well actually Tuesday, we're going to do a recap of NXT. I believe Wednesday is AEW on Wednesday?
Yes.
So do you want to do it like we did last week? Wait until we finish with the AEW and then do the review then, guys?
That's fine. It's fine with me. Let's see what Bullock and Didi have to say.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, then we'll do it as usual. 10:30 Eastern on Wednesday night. Then I believe Thursday is going to be. Is this where we do now? I'm probably going to say it's going to be strictly sports because that's when the NBA will be in its second round. So we'll cover the NBA play, the second round of the NBA, and for all you NFL fans, we're going to do it. It's going to happen. We're going to preview week 1, the opening night game. Or should we wait that for the other week? Or should we wait for the week after, guys, for the opening night game?
What I say we do in regards to that is Tuesday the 8th. I say on Tuesday the 8th, we that'll be an off night, probably right around 10:30 or so. On that Tuesday the 8th, I say we do our official NFL season preview, and then we'll also preview that week 1 only game, and then maybe that Thursday, and then we'll have, or maybe we could just do it all in one shot. I don't know.
All right, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So we got a lot coming up, guys. I'm not gonna waste too much longer. We're gonna have to try to nail this all down. It's chaos galore right now. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night. We're gonna have that. That's confirmed. Bruins beat and ridiculously raw. So until then, have a good night, everybody. So long. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We're out. Bye.